It feels like Counter-Strike, for all that you won the major and you only any org to do it, you've had a lot of those ones that are like the near misses in Counter-Strike. Like for me, the HenryG kassad CSGO project where they had all those big name players and there was a lot of money pumped into it. Like, I feel like that's one where no one could know the future. No one could know when we'd come back to LANs. Like, if you could somehow have done that a year later and there's LANs immediately, like some of those players are LAN players, but just on the internet, you know, some of them were not motivated, or people remember back then, like the results almost felt like they were upside down sometimes. Some of the teams that I remember, there was teams getting put as number one in the world, mate, that like they could never even make a LAN final if they'd gone to one then or now, mate. So like, I feel like that's got to be one of the most brutal ones because you really did go in on that one. And for those first months, like you were putting a lot behind it, but I can understand why you had to pull the plug up.
Yeah, that was another just like, whoa, that was I don't like the PA stuff. I could have done better. I feel like there were things in my control that we could have done better to make that more like just more understandable for everybody. The Colossus explosion, I feel like, well, that's like an act of God situation where we look to build a super good LAN team, and the pandemic broke out, and I suddenly had players that were, you know, North American players living in Serbia by themselves in an apartment in a place where they couldn't speak the country, completely separate the language, completely separated from everybody, miserable. And I couldn't, like, I was struggling to do, like, we were trying to do boot camps, and players couldn't, like, literally couldn't travel. They weren't allowed to travel internationally because of pandemic restrictions. And so it was such a difficult team to run, and we didn't know what events were running when, and the team was built to be able to perform on LAN. We couldn't really work together. And I was just like, I don't know how long this is going to last. It just kept dragging out. And I'm like, I got to pull the plug on this because my players, I think they were going to quit if I didn't. And what it did allow us for me to bring Zeppa from that team onto my Valorant
that's
team.
True.
He's done incredibly well. But like that guy, and it's kind of crazy. He's been with me for a long time, and he's been through a lot for that situation. And it's pretty cool that he was able to transition to Valorant through all of that.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.